Happy Sunday night to each and every one of you Mother Canuckers. How's it going? It's the end of the weekend, and we'll be back in 3 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. We're not actually going. Anyways, how's everybody doing? It's Sunday night, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. This is just show number 1 of 3 tonight. It's a busy night on the channel, so we have a 1-hour Fandom Empire live right now where I'm going to be up front with you. The focus is going to be Star Wars. We have some Halloween 6 stuff we're going to talk about. We even have a little bit of Halloween Kills stuff we want to address right at the end. It's nothing major. It's about how to see the movie and the latest on that. And then Lampkin Lane is up next. And boy, do we have a Lampkin Lane for each and every one of you Mother Canuckers out there tonight. And by you Mother Canuckers, I clearly mean the people that are a part of the Lampkin Lane tier or the Fandomaniacs tier or the Fandomatics tier over on Patreon. But if that doesn't give you an idea what that show is going to be about tonight, then I'm not sure what does. But it's going to be fun. And we actually have quite a lot to talk about in terms of Halloween ends. So looking forward to that. And then to cap off the night, Kieran's going to be reviewing the latest episode of Rick and Morty, Season 5, Episode 5. The title is a nod to American Graffiti. What's the title name?
It's called A Mortykin Graffiti. They do that with every episode title this year has been something like that. Like the first one was, instead of My Dinner with Andre, it was More Dinner Rick Andre. And like, it doesn't make sense. They just fit Rick and Morty in a famous title.
Fun stuff. But anyway, he's got that about 11:35 Eastern time tonight, and he usually goes for about a half an hour, and you guys will be able to see all that good shit then. Let's dive right into this, though. We only have an hour with you guys tonight before we head over to the Patreon side of things. Tommy B, how's it going, man? How you doing? How was the ice cream? What did you
I'm not muted. I thought I was muted. Hanging in there, buddy. Ice cream was good. The wife got a gelati. Y'all got gelatis up there? Y'all, you know what that is?
No, but it reminds me of something we watched last night.
It's ice cream mixed with water ice. I don't know if you know.
We're not going to put up our own. We're not going to put up our own review of it, but maybe right after we finish intros here, Kieran and I will give a really brief review of the Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. Is that the title of the movie? I think that's what
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Okay, yeah, it's the one. I don't know. The second movie, the sequel, if you will. But other than that, Tommy, how you doing?
I mean, tonight for me personally was a chocolate shake kind of night. So chocolate shake nights are usually good nights. If I'm at a place and they don't have something I really want, I usually go for a shake. That's just what I do, especially if they're like the malted ones. That's good shit. Tommy B likes the malted shakes. They're nice and thick.
I don't know if I can take you seriously, man. I don't know. You just gave us a close up there, and it was like I didn't know if I was talking to Harry Potter or George Costanza.
Stop.
They both have the same glasses, right? So, like,
stop.
Who would you prefer, Harry Potter or George Costanza? I mean, you can't go wrong. Larry David, who's basically George Costanza. You're really not going to bail me out of here.
You're very interesting. You know that, Sean. You're a very interesting person.
I'm a very interesting person.
Yeah.
I mean, the glasses are Costanza-ish, but he doesn't look like George Costanza, which is good for Tommy B. But Harry Potter, I don't see so much either. He's got like dark black rimmed glasses,
you could
right?
see it more when I was a kid and when I had short hair. The Harry Potter thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Oh, so it's a thing.
It is a thing.
It's a thing.
It is a thing.
Oh. Wow.
If you've always weared circle rim glasses, then I can imagine.
I have
it being
not.
a thing.
This is my first time.
Wow.
Don't listen to Sean. I think you look great.
Oh, I never said he didn't look good. I just said he looked like one of the two.
Sean with the Tommy hate as always.
Everyone.
So what are you up to, guy who couldn't beat me at mini putt?
Who
I
the
know,
fuck
I-
actually
it was a
won? You
tough-
have to address that. Who won?
I have no idea how I didn't win because I'm not saying anything happened. It was wonky. I looked at the scorecard. Whenever I gave you an answer, you wrote down the right answer. But like, I was like, man, I hit all threes and a couple twos, and like, I don't know. I felt like you were way more like up and down.
Oh, for sure.
But-
Kieran was more consistent. He did have a 4 or 2. I think you have the card. I think you have 1 or 2 4s on there for sure.
I do have the card somewhere, or I might have thrown it.
But
out
anyway,
by now,
I was more like I noticed if you look at it, I hit some 2s where you hit 3s, which is where I was able to get back into it. But I also had more 4s than Kieran did. So Kieran was more consistent, and I was able to get some of the strokes back on holes that he didn't do. But maybe just to make his ego feel a little bit better, maybe we should let him do the scoring next time. So
It's always better when I do the scoring because then I won't bitch about it later. As soon as you put stakes on it, I was like, oh fuck. Well, it's not gonna be fun anymore. Which it was fun anyway. So
Jade says she was the only hole in one. That's true.
Queen Jade got the only hole in one of the night.
It was on the Happy Gilmore hole too.
And lost by like 21 strokes.
Yeah. Your wife was down by about 10. She was down. Jade was down about 20, and then we were right there. I hate ties. I would have rather lose.
I
know.
Are we going to do a giveaway of some kind or something?
Well, first of all, we need to give away a Patreon gift tonight on Lambkin Lane between, I think it's Dean, Tim, and Jesse. So we got to figure out how we're going to do that. And then, we were going to give away a gift for whoever picked the winner right. And since there was no winner, there's no gift for the moment. But Kieran and I are already debating about how to go about rematches of sorts. Anyways, last night we seen the Ryan Reynolds, Selma Hayek, I believe is how you say her name, and Samuel Jackson's the Hitman's wife's bodyguard. Right? Did I get it right there?
Yep. You got it.
All right. Well, what do you think of the movie, man?
I actually really liked the movie. It's interesting because we were trying to pick movies, and I did like the Hitman's Bodyguard, which was the original. It wasn't that long ago I watched it either, like a year ago or so. But seeing it in theater, it's kind of the movie I would regularly be like, I'll wait for Netflix. Like, that's fine. But, it was weird movies to pick from. We had a couple of horror movies that I wasn't really that interested in seeing. Quiet Place 2 probably would have been what we would have saw, except we discovered that it's on Amazon already for free. So why would we pay for it? And, Space Jam was out because it was like, do we really want to see a kid's movie? I don't think you're interested in that one at all. I'm only kind of on it anyways. So we're like, you know what? Let's go see this because it's going to be good. It's Ryan Reynolds. It'll be funny. And man, like it was funnier than the first one. I thought it was much funnier than the first one. Being mostly because of Selma Hayek's character was like way more out front there. Like she was way more involved. And I think that's what happened was they noticed that in the first movie, she was like a hilarious like part of it. Like I thought she was amazing in it. We watched the first one again right before we went on Friday night. And yeah, I honestly was like, man, Selma Hayek like makes this movie by going loco on everybody and freaking out. And this movie is just like really, really turned up. And they had some reoccurring gags, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, I was, even after being a little salty about tying at mini putt, like I still enjoyed the movie. So
I think that, like, I know there's comedy in the first movie, no doubt, but the first movie felt a lot more serious than this movie. There was definitely a more serious tone to the first movie than this one, where this one does feel like, borderline Deadpool spinoff. And that's just how Ryan Reynolds is, and even though it was a fun popcorn flick, and like I wouldn't give it like an 8.5 out of 10 or something. It's probably a solid 7 out of 10. Like, just the experience being at the movies for that movie and how many laughs are in that movie was a very infectious atmosphere to be a part of. It was good. It was good. I know Jade and I were both pretty baked in there. Jade more so than me. And
I did hear a couple giggles from Jade that were, like the kind of giggle you get when someone's high.
Yeah.
Like people laugh at things, but like when you're high, you're like, like did that little sort of, yeah. And it was pretty funny, but I mean, yeah, it was good time had by all. I think so.
It was fun. It was fun. And Eric asked in the chat, how was it being back at the movie theater? I don't have a right to speak to the other 3 people that were there, or for the other 3 people that were there. But for me, I love going to the cinema. I think it's the best way to see a movie. I don't think you can recapture that atmosphere. We were in one of the theater complex we went is a town over from us, and it has 24 theaters in it. At least it used to be that many. It might be a little less now.
Still 24, because I know the other side when we went down the hall said 15 to 24.
So like the screen we seen this movie on was not massive, and the theater wasn't massive. Everyone was basically, you'd have 2 people and then 2 open seats, and 2 people and then 2 open seats, and these were all recliners. And I don't know, I enjoyed it. I really liked the atmosphere, and I feel like most people that were in the movie theater last night enjoyed it and got some laughs out of the movie. And it was a real positive atmosphere to be a part of, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I honestly, like, for me, I'm a little bit like, I'm not a germaphobe at all, but this whole thing and how crazy it is where we live. Like, I don't think, not everyone is having the crazy restrictions we've had in Ontario. So some people had it for like 2 weeks and then went on almost as normal. Some people, have had a couple of waves and things like that, but, gone back to normal in the States, mostly entirely in the States now. But like here in Ontario, we've been locked down so many times. Don't do anything. Don't fucking leave your house unless it's for groceries. Like, we've had a lot of pretty rough times, and it's been psychologically a problem. Like, you go out, you talk to someone, and like automatically in my head, I'm like, hey, stay the fuck away from me, 6 feet. Like, no, don't cough around me. Like, I kind of have like a little freak out in my mind sometimes. I don't freak out on people in real life, but like, I didn't know how I would react to going back to the theater and sitting down. Would I be like, oh man, like I'm sitting too close to people and stuff like that? And I didn't feel that way at all. I didn't even skip a beat. I thought it was a regular movie night, and it was really, I don't know, it was really awesome. It was a great feeling to go back to the movies, and I love the movies. I think, like, I feel like I'm pretty much on par with what you said. I love to see the movies. I'd go every weekend if it was affordable for me. Yeah. Like when Zach was talking quite a while ago about how he has some sort of movie pass thing or something like that. I'm like, Jesus, if I had one of those, like, I'd go all the time. Like, I'm off for summer. I'd go for a matinee every day. Like, I don't know. Anyways, Oh, I have an Orlando Magic jersey. It is it's Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
Wow. Penny Hardaway, my first favorite basketball player. I was really down with the whole Hardaway Shaq thing when they were on commercials and they had Mini Penny and all that stuff. I was really down with that, and that predated the Raptors being a team. So yeah, NBA Jam. I'm really big into NBA Jam, the game, so that helped too. And my bowling alley had the version that had Shaq in it. Can't get it on the systems, but you can get it in the arcade. You can have Shaq. Right? Sorry,
was it Leisure Lanes that had it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Leisure Lanes.
That's a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, my dad used to bowl on Saturdays, and there was this mini arcade. It was great, though. It had that, and it had a pinball machine, might have been Terminator 2. And it had, what's that game with the little arrow that goes like this, and you shoot bubbles in the, I don't know, whatever. It's like a puzzle game, like a Tetris game. Anyways, we're way off course now. But yeah, love Orlando Magic, love the movie night, even though, like, I don't want to say, like, I'm not crazy, but I think a lot. So, you know, my thoughts are very scatterbrained and crazy. So being in a public places right now, I think lots of things. And I was just happy that I was actually comforted in the theater and I felt great.
You know, what was kind of surreal is to follow up Kieran's point, like up here in Canada, like we haven't even been able to consider to go back to filming our projects until basically now, and there's a lot of movement that's happening on both of those fronts. But being out in the movie theater was one thing, and Jade pointed out in the concession area you could feel like, oh, this isn't really social distanced, and it was like, okay. But we went out for dinner, and Kieran, I don't know if this would apply to you too. That's the most jam-packed setting that I've been in any one building in almost 2 years. I've never been in a restaurant that is that full or has been allowed to be that full since all this started. Like it was basically full.
Yeah. They had these little plexiglass things in between that look like hockey boards. Yeah. But other than that, it was good. It was good. And I mean, I don't know. I felt odd about that. I know the server came up to ask me, and this was before you got here, but she came up to ask me like for my order, and I was like, am I supposed to put my mask back on? She's like, no, you're in here. Don't worry about it. And I was like, okay.
Well, it's hard, right? Because everybody has such a, I don't want to get too political with this, but like, Tommy, you guys have been open for quite a while down there, and like, we're just hitting it now. So it's like, it's hard not to be like, oh, can I do this? Can I not do this?
Honestly, and it varies because some businesses will still choose to follow restrictions. And let me just jump in real quick and speak to what y'all are saying. Y'all know we just spent a week in Oregon, Pacific Northwest in the U.S., and there are some businesses in the city that still want you to mask and all that. And we had to mask throughout our flights. That's a federal thing. That's a countrywide thing. That's not going away anytime soon, I don't think. But once we got out there, more places than not, you don't mask. All the restaurants. Now, I don't know if we were in a restaurant like you, Sean, packed to the brim, but we were in some pretty tight spots without masks. Yeah, and then we did a couple things while we were there. Didn't see a single mask. Didn't see any single signs related to the pandemic. Nothing. It's like it never happened, and it's very weird.
It's just to clarify to the chat and to those of you that might be new, we're not like saying we're pro-mask or anti-mask or anything like that. We're just talking about how it just different things are right now, and like it because I don't want a big political discussion.
Totally, yeah, we're at this very weird time where the world is, at least here in North America, we're in this very strange time of transition. It's like, okay, so we're moving forward, but in other areas we're not. We're ready, you're not ready, and we have to respect everyone's thoughts, views, and approaches to precautions. It is what it is. But yeah, as far as social reintegration and such, going to theaters, going to restaurants, and it's, if you ask me, it's just great, and I've been enjoying this for a little longer than y'all. It's great to just get back in there and for things to get back to normal a little bit more.
Oh, Jade and I said today that we couldn't wait to go out and do that again, and just have like a date night where it's,
Yeah.
I can hear myself echoing through one of your guys' sides. No, Tommy doesn't have earbuds in, does he?
I don't know.
Testing. Yeah, it's good now. Interesting. Weird. Shit happens. Anyway, let's dive into this. So there's some very, very intriguing stuff out right now that has come from extremely reputable places that almost always get Star Wars shit right. So there's no reason to not doubt this information, because it comes from the likes of Making Star Wars, who's back at their thing, whether you like the guy or you don't like the guy, whether he's guilty or innocent from past things. I know there was the Making Star Wars controversy last year. But he ran stuff. Jordan Mason over at Cinelinx ran stuff. And even a couple of the Kessel Run Transmissions, who are not together anymore, they've both come out and aired it too. So, like, you're not just talking one place, you're talking 3 or 4 different places all verifying the same thing. And just so for the record, Kieran doesn't know where we're going with this. He knows we're going to talk about Kenobi. And just a warning to everyone, I'd say we're getting into light spoilers. I don't think they're heavy spoilers because it's not about the fate of any character. But we are going to talk about what the premise of the show is, which I think is exciting to finally know about. And it makes sense. And we're going to talk about who is going to appear in the show, but we're not spoiling like any Luke Skywalker moments from Mandalorian. You know, all this information will be on the major trades sooner rather than later. But anyways, if you look at our thumbnail here, you're probably wondering, what the hell is the little girl from the Bird Box doing there, holding her hand out like she's using the Force? Well, that little girl is, whose name is slipping my mind. I'm going to try to pull it up here. One moment. That little girl is going to play Leia in the Kenobi show, which I think is exciting. She was really, really good in Bird Box. The limited time that we see her in, she's really good. I don't know who's messaging me, but I have a real hard time. Yes, it probably is real. I don't know if that is the real poster, but they're already confirmed to be in it. Sorry. You can't do that to me when I'm like this. You totally take my attention off the show. Anyway, blame Jade. There's a Doctor Strange poster that's floating around out there, and I don't know if it's real or not, but it should be real because... What the hell is that noise? Did you guys hear that?
I did, but I was muted.
I feel like this is a haunted podcast or something like that.
It might be. Anyways, so the girl's name, who I'm trying to pull up here, but I'm taking forever at doing so, who is playing Leia in Kenobi, is Vivian Lyra Blair. And she was really, really good in Bird Box. And you might be wondering, do we need Leia in Kenobi? Because we already know we were getting Kid Luke. So why is Leia there? Well, the reason Leia is there, reportedly from these sites, is Leia is actually the premise of the show. And Leia is the reason why, reportedly, again, it's not us that are reporting it, I'm just relaying the information. Reportedly, that's what gets Obi-Wan off Tatooine. Is something is going to happen to Leia somehow, whether it's the Empire, which I'm assuming it is, because we can also tell you there's lots of Inquisitors involved in this show, not just one. The guy who plays Han in the Fast and the Furious series, it's believed he's playing the 5th brother And then we know there's a couple other Inquisitors involved. We know Vader and Obi-Wan are going to have their showdown, according to Kathleen Kennedy. So you get into, that sort of thing. But anyways, how do you guys feel about the idea? The whole premise of the show is, something with Leia is what forces Obi-Wan to get back into action. Like, a lot of people have always felt there should be nothing that could make Obi-Wan leave Tatooine during this time, because his mission is to make sure Luke is okay. But
well, Sean, I think it's a bunch of shit. Nah, not really. Oh
God, wrong button. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. Ever since we had that pivotal recording of Princess Leia, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope, we've basically been living with the understanding that beyond being a baby, for those brief moments, Leia never really had any real interaction with Obi-Wan.
I don't agree with that at all.
Really?
Really. Because Leia even knows who Luke is referring to. Remember, hi, I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm here with Ben Kenobi. Never calls him Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just Ben Kenobi. And she knows exactly who he's talking about.
You're true. Yeah.
You can still have a storyline that revolves around saving Leia without Leia or Obi-Wan having any,
So maybe what I should say is we've always gone with this, like, understanding that we've never had a recorded interaction. All we've known is that Bail tells her about him. This general, this Jedi, this war hero, so on and so forth. We've seen over time Leia at different ages. In Rebels, she was more of like a teenager, young adult. I'd have to double check the age. Oh, wow, Frank. Wow. Frank Riker in the chat. Will we see Luke and Leia going to the prom together?
That sounds like the Johnny cut.
Oof. Anyway, just to wrap it up real brief, I'm actually cool with this. I wouldn't mind. Obviously, she won't remember the interaction.
I think she can remember the interaction, but that doesn't mean they knew one another. They could have.
How old will she be at this time? How old will Luke and Leia be at this time?
They're somewhere between like 8 and 10 years old.
Yeah, they would remember the interaction. Then they would have to.
But who said don't? Like, I don't get where you're getting that from. She never says she never met Obi-Wan. That never comes up. I'm kind of just shoehorning it in there as we've never seen it before. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. We've never seen it before, but there's nothing in Star Wars canon that says that can't happen. And just because he goes and presumably saves her, she has to get saved somehow, right? How to piss off. We also don't really ever see her grieve for him, but at the same time, that could be off screen. So again, though, if Obi-Wan saves her, they could have been together for one day, and while that's an important day in her life, if this past Jedi Knight saves her, she might not even know who he is, other than, hey, here's this guy who's named Ben, perhaps, and never says anything more, who gets her back to Bail. And come a New Hope, he's significantly older, so.
I teach kids how to read sometimes, and then like 3 years later, I'm like on the recess field, like, hey guys, don't roll down the hill. And they're like, who the fuck are you?
Kieran, what do you think of this being the premise of Kenobi and what gets him off the planet? Because I don't know if you were someone that believed he shouldn't leave Tatooine, but
no, I don't. I think that some people go, they don't understand, like, hey, in order to give us content, we need to create something. Like, if they had what would you rather? A Kenobi series where he sits and fucking watches and stalks a child? Or like maybe Frank Riker would enjoy that, but most of us would be like, what the fuck? We want some action. Like you have, it's so much people are like, it's the same thing with stormtroopers. Like, oh, they miss all the time. They never hit anyone. Yeah. Well, if they fucking killed all the good guys, it wouldn't be a very good story, would it? So same thing. Like if they're like, hey, you know what? We can have Leia make them leave he'll go and save Leia, and we'll have to kind of find a way that it fits in canon, and we'll make sure that things work around. And I don't think that there's a lot of problems, but anyone who does think that there's
maybe we'll make sure it fits in canon. Maybe it'll just
maybe they'll just won't give a shit.
77. Who cares?
Maybe they'll just go fuck themselves. Who knows?
Maybe,
but
it's always possible.
But you always have to think, okay, well, how are we going to get another movie? We need to come up with something. We, like when they made the original trilogy, like I don't think they thought they were going to have a million other fucking stories to fit in there. So you do got to find creative ways to do it. And if it doesn't always make exact sense with what you thought of the character, what you thought the character's brain was doing, like whatever, just have fun. It's Star Wars. Star Wars is fun. That's the worst thing I hate about the Star Wars fandom and how crazy and toxic it is. Like, guys, we got into this the first place when we were kids, most of us, and we just had fun. It was fun. Like, I don't remember, like, running around the backyard when I was 10 going, choo, 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 you're dead, Darth Vader. And, like, some kid walks out and he's like, actually, Darth Vader died in the movie. I saw how it happened, so you can't pretend that anymore. Like, choo, choo, fuck you, too. So, yeah, I don't know. Anytime that someone has a problem with the premise of a movie because the character didn't work out the way that they wanted to, fuck you.
It's funny because I actually saw a meme earlier today. It's like, I forget, it's like corporate wants you to pretend to be a Star Wars fan or something. Fucking person response, I hate Star Wars. Totally fucking accurate. Totally accurate.
Sean's, we go back and forth about The Last Jedi all the time. We don't need to retread a ton about it, but I respect Sean's opinion on The Last Jedi because the things that he doesn't like or has explained to me that he doesn't like about it, the wish-washy direction that the movie goes in, as compared to the other two movies bookending it, didn't make sense. It's 100% true. However, the people whose number one basis for not liking The Last Jedi is like, Luke wouldn't have done that. It's like, the fuck? He's not your character. Not everybody acts the way that you act. You can't, like, they can make Luke do whatever they want. Like, you can't be like, I've seen 10 hours of his life and read about stuff that's not canon anymore, so I know exactly what that character would do. You don't. They get to write whatever the fuck they want.
It turns out when you pay $4.4 billion for something, you get some creative freedom. So
yeah. So like that's, if you didn't like it, that's okay. But don't go and tell me like, that's not my Luke Skywalker. He wouldn't have done that. He's a fictional character. They marionette puppet the guy into doing whatever the fuck they want. He's a fictional character. They can't say like, well, he would never do that. You ever met him? No.
They wouldn't like
fictional.
My Luke Skywalker. I said they wouldn't like my Luke Skywalker. My Luke Skywalker ends up being the villain of that trilogy. So that's how
I was pretty cool with that one too. Yeah.
And not necessarily just for the character, but I thought Mark Hamill could be so good on screen as like the big bad. And
yeah. I mean, there's one or two things I don't like about what happens with his character there. There's like a couple little things, but like the idea that he turned out the way he did, I don't have any problem with. But I don't know. If people do, that's okay too. But just don't go around saying like that's not what he would have done. Like he's fictional.
Are you cool though with the whole, him going to save Leia thing? Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah. No, well, not Luke. But with Kenobi going to do it, yeah. No, I'm cool with Kenobi going off planet. It makes sense. That seems to be one of the few reasons that like would really make sense to me, I guess. But You know, if it was
Luke's going too, don't you know? He's going to get his lightsaber early. It's going to be a light butter knife. He's going to start learning how to use force push and pull. And then at the end of the whole mission, we're going to wipe his mind. And then we're going to do a time skip to A New Hope.
There's always
anime
that.
style.
There's always the forget. You know, you never saw this. It's the easiest way to fit in something.
You see Kenobi and Vader about to fight in the finale of the miniseries. You know, the last 25 minutes is the big battle for them. They're getting ready to battle, and all of a sudden you hear these metal footsteps come up, and it's Darth Maul, and it's a triple threat match. And you know, Kieran would just love that if they found a way to shoehorn Darth Maul in there again.
Well, so that's why I'm that's where my arguments come in. Like, my arguments about Boba Fett and Darth Maul, who I hate and everyone loves, are not anything to do with the characters. I don't really like Maul's character that much, but it's not. I loved him in Rebels, didn't like him in Clone Wars. I loved him when he first appeared in Phantom Menace. I thought the character was really cool, but obviously didn't really have a character at that point. He was just painted face guy who fights really cool. My gripe with either of those characters is always like, why do they keep finding ways to put these guys in? Like, it's the exact same thing as wrestling when you're like, man, I really would like to see this guy fight this guy. Oh, and The Rock comes in to fight, someone else for the fucking 100 millionth time. And it's like, just create new characters. Stop. Like, I don't need to see, Boba Fett or Darth Maul again. I didn't really need to see.
We're going to see Maul. Maul's going to.
I didn't really need to see Maul at the end of Solo.
File from Rebels that goes Kenobi.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It also didn't, like, having Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. I was like, I would make jokes about it and stuff like that. But I still love The Mandalorian. Not run around being like, it's trash because fucking Boba Fett was in it. Like, I still loved it. I still love the series, and I'm still gonna watch the Boba Fett series.
One more thing.
Friends series where it seems like every other fucking character is gonna be in that. Oh,
before we get away from it, one more thing I will comment a little bit on, though. I don't know how I feel about seeing the fifth brother. That character was created for Rebels, and it was cool there. I don't know.
Which one is the fifth brother? Is that the original Inquisitor that we see, or is that the big one?
Nope, you're thinking of the Grand Inquisitor. The fifth brother's the big one.
Is he the bulky one? Yeah,
correct. So I actually feel like I would like to see original Inquisitors, but I don't think that ship has sailed either. Because with the fifth brother, Obi-Wan can't kill him.
He can still beat him.
He can still beat him. Yeah. I mean, and there's no guarantee he won't take out his fair share of Inquisitors, but I'm kind of at the point, and I think we share this view. Obi-Wan's well beyond any Inquisitor.
Sure. Oh God,
he should just be able to waste them with ease.
You got to remember, so we're probably going to see Obi-Wan in a day and age where he hasn't done very much but survive and train with his mind.
Right, like be rusty, I guess.
I
philosophize.
I think he's going to struggle, and I think we're going to love him for that struggle. I don't think it's going to be easy for him. Yeah. All right. Let's shift gears here and talk a little bit about Halloween 6. All right. So correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy, you've only seen the theatrical cut, correct?
I might have only seen the producer's cut.
Oh. How's that one end?
So, does Michael get up? I'm trying to remember.
There's two endings. There's the one
Loomis
where
becomes the new. He's got the thorn mark on him.
yeah, and he takes the mask off of Michael. Okay, so you didn't see the other ending. All right, and Kieran's
I've never seen that before.
That's
what the fuck?
Yeah, the producers cut.
You guys just ruined it for me.
Oh, I thought that's come up on the channel 10,000 times over again.
Not that I remember. We try not to talk about Halloween 6 most of the time.
You don't know what it means, so it's all right. You got to see the movie.
That's all right.
You can find it easily without renting it for like $10 online or whatever.
I'll forget about it in a week.
Can you rent the producer's cut?
Yeah, you can go and find it on Amazon. I mean, let me rephrase that. You can find it on Amazon here. I would think the same would apply in Canada, but y'all got Crave and other kinds of services for certain streaming things, different rights for different entities, so maybe not.
Everything's different where we have it too. The content is never the same.
I really, really want to get a physical copy of the producer's cut, but you're not getting it without paying, for that old version that's like hundreds of freaking dollars or whatever.
If only we reportedly were getting a cool new set that might include that later on.
Yeah, like say next year maybe.
I don't want to wait till then. I want it fucking now.
Well, now I want to see it because you guys fucking told me what happened.
So someone messages me the other day, and they're like, honestly, what do you think of Halloween 6? And I know we've done rankings. But when you actually sit there and think about each movie, it's like, okay, you almost start over-analyzing them. But if you're in a spur-of-the-moment conversation that's not a long conversation, they're just like, what do you think of Halloween 6? It's like, yeah, I like it, the producer's cut. So I'm referring to just the producer's cut here, which a lot of people give, a lot of hate to. And then, I really had to think about it for a second because when we've done lists, I don't know if it's been producer's cut or theatrical cut. I can't remember. But it's like, do I like Rob Zombie's movies better than the H6 producer's cut? No. Do I like Resurrection or H2O better than this H6 producer's cut? No. And I definitely don't like 5 better. And I actually might like H6's producer's cut better than Halloween 3 as well, and just behind Halloween 2.
Holy shit! Wow, that's
so, I got thinking, I'm like,
that's a flex right there.
This is one of the better, Halloween movies. And yet you go over to the theatrical cut, at least for me anyways, it's subjective. You go over to the theatrical cut and it's like, oh, yeah, this is shit. I would have chosen a bunch of those movies over the theatrical cut. So it lets you know, there is a big difference between the two cuts. But I really like H6. I'd like the chat to answer now, because I know you guys are more Halloween fans than anything else. Just you don't have to rank anything. What do you think about Halloween 6, the producer's cut? Short sentence or two. What do you think about H6, the producer's cut, in the chat? And we'll throw them up on screen and read them. Kieran, what did you think of the theatrical cut in comparison to some of the other movies?
Well, I'd love to re-rank them, actually. I would love to re-rank them now, because I know we did a ranking when I had first seen all of them, probably only once or twice. And now I've gone back and watched them. A lot of times we have a conversation like, hey, we're going to talk about Halloween 4 tonight. And I'm like, I got an hour and a half. I'll watch Halloween 4, whatever. So I've seen them all a number of times now. 6, maybe not as much. But I think my ranking now would include the original timeline as the top 7 out of 6 movies. Because I don't like Rob Zombie movies, and I hate H2O the more I watch it. And Resurrection, I never want to fucking see again. So, I mean, I did say I want to watch the Rob Zombie movies again, though. But so I think it's probably going to be around 5 or 6 for me.
So middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's in the middle there. It's fun to watch. There's some things I don't like about it. I definitely, I don't know exactly how to size it up because I just feel like it's kind of blah. Like it's kind of like it's just there. I watch it, it's okay. It's got decent rewatch value. I like 5 a lot better than 6, but I think the rewatch value, I've said but before, like it's not a great film, and I understand why people would have it where they like it, or if you don't like it, I get it. There was lots of cheese in it, even more than a horror movie in the 80s should have, in the 80s 90s should have. So but the rewatch value on 5 is great, and I think the rewatch value on 6 is lower. So but yeah, I'll go watch it right now. Like, if I had the time and before this conversation, even though I didn't know I was going to be on tonight until like 20 minutes ago, I probably would have just like, you know what? I'll watch Halloween 6, and I would have rewatched it. It's good enough that I could just still do that. Whereas if you're like, hey, we're talking about Resurrection tonight, and I'll be like, hey, count me out. That's probably why it's more forgettable for me, is just because there's less great Loomis parts in it.
See, the producer's cut has way more Loomis in it than the theatrical cut. So
I've seen some of the deleted scenes and things like that, but I don't always remember which movie they're from, because I know a lot of the deleted scenes are from Halloween 2, where they're in the like TV. What didn't it release on TV and it had extra scenes? Yeah. So some of them are from that, and some of them are from other movies, and some of them are for 6. I've pretty much watched every Loomis video on the interweb because I love Loomis.
Let's see what the chat had to say. Turkey Burger said 6 was interesting. Troy gave it a thumbs up. Jake D said best kills in the franchise. Wow. Art said, fuck that, hard pass. Jade says she likes the producer's cut better. Can't wait for your interview to hear more about the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, we're going to have Daniel Farrens on, who is the writer of Halloween 6. And it's going to be a lot of fun to have him on the channel in a couple weeks' time. And can't wait for that one.
Quick little, just a little bit of information. I don't know if I really need to correct myself, but I wanted to chime in about it. So Halloween 6 Curse of Michael Myers, the producer's cut, is available on Amazon.com. I'm assuming this is only for the US. For rent in HD for $3.99 US. And you can buy it if you're into buying, movies from services like that, for $17 US. But again, that's digital only, and you can only access it through your Amazon account. I'm not really into that sort of thing. I'm assuming you all have, yeah, I know for a fact you have it. Prime Video and all that sort of thing. So I don't know what it would go through for y'all. I would think you would be able to rent it and or buy it from Amazon. Same thing.
I'd have to look for it.
They just wouldn't let me see the prices when I looked real quick. I couldn't do it.
I went to a movie store at our local mall, and I looked up Halloween in their little section there. And man, they had they had a pack that came with 1 and 2, a pack that came with 2 and 4, a pack that came with 5 and 6, a pack that they had all sorts of different releases. They were all way overpriced because they were, what releases that you can't get anymore. But
yeah, of course.
But it was cool, all the different combinations they had.
Every once in a grand while, a producer's cut, I think it was only DVD. If Dean Renner's in there, could you please correct me? I don't think a Blu-ray was released. Maybe there one was. Every once in a while, a producer's cut does pop up, but it goes for a bajillion times its normal price. I've seen it go for 100, 150 online on eBay.
Interesting. The Lost Relic says H6 is a very interesting attempt at something new for the series. Michael's incredible, but overall, I just don't like it. Aaron's never seen it. Andy Chavez says Halloween 6 producers cut really took the time to connect the dots and just give you much more solid story versus the original H6 was just discombobulated at best. Good stuff. And then Flinner adds in, I've only seen the theatrical cut, but doesn't the producer's cut go deeper into the Cult of Thorn stuff? It does, very much so. Way
Very
more.
Much appreciate. I enjoy it.
You know, I still think because it goes more into that it's a better movie for that, because that stuff's in the theatrical cut too, but it's so it's way less explained and just seems vague, and you don't really touch on it.
I think that's why
I want to watch it now.
Don't like the Thorn stuff because they just don't have that background info, that context.
I love the Thorn stuff, even the minimal stuff we got. Now I want to watch this movie.
Dude, this movie's all Thorn. It might as well be called the Thorn movie. If you see,
can we just watch this movie soon?
Yeah, I'd be down. For sure.
I'll find it somewhere. Even if I can't buy it, I'll find means to watch it. I do intend to buy some of those movies that come out with the ones that have the good extras. I mean, being on this network, I should probably have it on DVD by now. I only have 2018 on DVD. The rest of them I just, streaming services. I have Shudder and stuff like that. So every once in a while, cool movies go on there and stuff. But just to have them whenever I want them would be nice, and the extras would be great too.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. But if you can find them via other means, we know that there's a chance that Shout Factory / Scream Factory might be releasing 6 all the way through Zombies films next year on 4K and collector's editions. So
I wanted to watch the zombie films not too long ago because we talk about them, and I know number 2 is totally trash in my mind. It probably can't be probably can't have any redemption. But I do know that when the first one came out, originally in 2007.
Yep.
I remember I watched it before I was a fan of Halloween really at all. And I was like, it's pretty cool. But I didn't really have any Halloween knowledge. And I know a lot of people will say, I mean, not a lot of people, but there are some people who are like, man, that movie sucks. But if it was not Halloween at all, if they just made it a different character and a different thing, then I would be okay with it. It would be all right.
Is that Rob Zombie 1 or 2?
1, the first one.
You see, I'm in that camp. If they, for that movie, it was not Michael Myers, it was not Halloween, and personally, if they used the alternate ending, I think I would have liked it more.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, so for that reason, I want to go watch them again. Everybody who knows me, including my brothers, who I forced to watch some of the worst crap ever, knows I will just watch crap movies if I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to remember why we're arguing about this. I'll watch the whole movie again just for that. So
I think when Kieran finally watches H6, I have a feeling it might end up being one of your favorites.
Possible. I don't know. I love this. I love the dumb. I love the dumb stuff that happens in the B horror movies. So Halloween's an A horror movie to me, not a B horror movie. But when you watch the B horror movies and there's weird telepathic powers and weird cults and crazy stupid stuff that makes almost no sense, but it's very out there and just crazy. I'm usually interested in it.
With that said, really quickly, I just want to let everybody know that it's Patreon show time. That's right. If you're signed up for the Fandom Empire Patreon, it's a really big night for Halloween Ends details. If you're not a member of Patreon and you want to be able to listen to that show or watch that show, you'd have to go to patreon.com/Fandom Empire. I'll put it in the chat. And you can come on and join us over there, and it's a good way to support the channel. I know it's not super cheap, but there's a bunch of you that already do it, and it goes a long way to to all of us here at the channel. So we're going to go talk Halloween Ends and a little Halloween Kills over there. But before we go, I just wanted to reiterate something and touch on it a little more because I know it's been out there. And I do see we have a super chat, so I'll throw that up on screen so I remember to read it. That a lot of people have been going, is Halloween Kills still going IMAX? Is Halloween Kills still going IMAX? We were supposed to get a full IMAX release of Halloween Kills. And then it basically got to a point where it was like, okay, that's probably not happening anymore. All the signs are pointing towards that not happening anymore. And I can tell you, at least for Canada, which means it's probably going to be the same for the United States, is there will be no Halloween Kills full IMAX release. You will be able to see Halloween Kills on an IMAX screen, but you might have to go a long way to be able to find your way there because it'll be very limited. At the end of the day, Dune and Bond have the demand for those seats because they were filmed in natural IMAX. So if you really want to see Kills in IMAX, you might have to travel a little bit. It'll probably only be that first weekend. There'll be a way to see it, but it's not going to be accessible to everybody. And that's for Canada. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for the United States. American Turkey Burger sends in, do you guys think you could do anything with the Cult of Thorn where they do you think they could do anything with the Cult of Thorn where they left off at the end, Dr. Loomis screaming, and the film cuts to black? Well,
let me jump in there, Sean, because I just looked something up. So I'm pretty sure this is a big issue after Curse of Michael Myers. Curse of Michael Myers came out September in 1995. I believe it was not 94. Donald Pleasance passed away in February of that year. So his death actually preceded the release of the film. Now, if you ask me personally, the film is set up so it could have kept going. They could have kept going and doing stuff.
That was the intent.
But that was impossible from that point forward. And honestly, with the legacy of Donald Pleasance, Rob Zombie recasted him. But you've never had a Donald Pleasance try to fill, or a Donald Pleasance. You've never had a Dr. Loomis try to fill Donald Pleasance's shoes. And I think the franchise has generally respected that sans Rob Zombie's Loomis. You guys got anything to say about that?
Well, he passed away before reshoots happened. So there's actually in a couple of scenes where he has his back to the camera. It's a stand-in. So that's intriguing. Some people don't know that. Specifically the Wynn confrontation. One of Wynn's full things were recorded, after Wynn's lines in that scene anyways, because there's two different scenes of that scene. The producer's cut and the theatrical cut. And one of them was recorded after Donald Pleasance had passed away. But yeah, I don't think you can replace Donald Pleasance. I think that's why Halloween Kills is going to be very, very respectful about how they do it. So like we've been saying for a long time, you're not going to get, a shit ton of Loomis in Halloween Kills. It's probably the distinction of a cameo. But a cameo with lines. And from what I've been able to tell, it seems like they have done it with as much respect as possible. I guess we'll all find out October 15th. In other words, October 14th. So, and then Dean sends in a $5 super chat. It's Patreon time. Indeed, it is. And if, again, you want to join us over at Patreon, we are talking Halloween Ends tonight. Halloween Ends with some Halloween Kills and touching back on that flashback scene once again. Patreon.com/Fandom Empire. And that's for the Lampkin Lane tier or above. Tommy, thanks for doing this, dude.
Totally. Enjoy it. Look forward to doing Lampkin Lane.
Yep. Same to you, Kieran. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem.
And to the chat, Kieran will be on at 11:35. If you watch Rick and Morty, come on back and join the discussion with him. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, click like on the video. Turns out those sort of little things help the channel. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Patreon time. Lampkin Lane is next.